I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. I would like to welcome Amaretto Ginja to the show. Hi.
Hi.
Hey, I appreciate you coming on. If you could, please introduce yourself to everybody.
Hello, I'm Amaretto Ginja, and I've been tubing for officially about a yearish,
Mm-hmm.
and just got into it maybe like a few years ago.
You were
So,
watching it first, and then just kind of
y-
decided
yeah,
to take the jump.
yeah.
Hmm. What drew you to it?
It was around the time when I was first seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
I was just, yeah, I around that time I was kind of starting to like explore and question my gender identity.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing everyone be really creative with their models and like kind of like cross presenting
Mm-hmm.
like males with female models and vice versa. I thought, but okay, I should try that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Was it
'Cause I
because
yeah.
see was it comfortable for you right at the start, or did it take a little while to settle in?
Like it was actually pretty comfortable from the when I first started.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause at the time I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to identify as,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
I hadn't come out to anyone in IRL, so
Mm-hmm.
this was kind of like a stepping stone to that.
Oh, you're the first person I've had on who I think m- uh, described it that way. It might have happened for them a little bit that way, but the first person who described it that way, and did this or has this help you be more comfortable with how you perceive yourself?
Oh, absolutely.
Mm. Mm. Is kind of a is it kind of a testing ground a little bit uh, for life outside the box?
Uh, yeah, at first it was,
Yeah.
and this was like 2021,
Mm-hmm.
and then I came out l- 2 years after that
Hmm.
to my family.
Right.
So,
Yeah. It.
and I think because I'm more comfortable in real life, it's made me more comfortable. Made me even more comfortable online than I was before.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. With this, I know a lot of people get online and they get to be more themselves, even with a model. They get to be more themselves than they are in person. Um,
yes.
was that something, given your unique experience here? Um, was that something that really helped you overall? The ability to go ahead and be that person that that you've wanted to be.
Yeah, it has helped a lot.
Mm-hmm. Well, confidence factor and you've gone through something I'm never going to go through in my life,
Mm.
which is I can't really empathize with it, but um, I mean, obviously it wasn't an easiest thing in the world to do, uh, and doing that in the not just personally and in person, but also online at the same time. Um, I couldn't tell you whether it took did it take some of the edge off?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I see. It's um. Were you looking to go online even without the life altering decisions.
Mm, I believe so.
Yeah, yeah. It's you know around here around the everything today, it's really tough to find empathy as a in anything. Um, but did you, uh, if you don't mind saying, did you find it uh, excessively tough to make this transition for yourself?
Um, hmm. It did take me some time to like decide. It did take a lot of like reflecting and thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Yeah,
but I did eventually decide to go through with it.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's not something. It's not like changing your shoes. It's a,
Yeah.
it's a real altering course in your life, and I hope that you're comfortable now, and and you're happy with where you are as far as that's concerned.
Yeah.
Mm. That's the thing is being being happy with where you're at and how you're you're perceiving yourself and how you want presented to everybody. And you mentioned that a little bit on as far as VTubers go. Folks do get a chance to um, present themselves as whoever they want online.
Yeah.
They still put a lot of themselves into it, but here you don't have the I guess this might be the wrong word, but handicap of seeing somebody face to face and trying to and working. Oh, what's the word I want to use? Working hard to make sure that they understand where you're coming from. Is it easier online or in person?
Online for sure.
Mm.
Or I think it's easier, at least for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you met any resistance online?
Resistance,
As
as
far
in,
as far as people not acting the way they should with you.
I mean, not with me.
Mm.
Mm,
You know, the chat's gone along with you really well so far.
yeah, I don't really have much of a chat anyway.
Mm.
But when I do, they're actually really supportive and welcoming. So,
That's excellent. So when you're online, is it easy for you to do whatever it is you're doing on stream and uh, converse with the folks who are there with you in chat?
and I've been getting better at that
Mm-hmm.
part.
You know,
I mean, because I'm working with one PC, one monitor at the moment.
yeah,
So I have to like get out a iPad or an iPhone and just kind of shift between the two to check chat and what I'm doing online.
yeah. So what are you going to tune into one of your streams? What am I going to watch? What are you doing usually?
Uh, it depends, but I think my main thing right now, I've been doing a bit of gotcha gaming,
Mm-hmm.
and then I've done like some of those emulator games,
Okay. Yeah, the like the card shop thing or whatever.
as something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Is are those the type of games that you'd play away from the broadcast, or are the games that you're playing to for the sake of the audience?
And so I did those was offline as well.
Mm, yeah. Is it more fun for you right now to play online with those games or offline?
Um, I don't. really think I notice any difference.
Mm,
It's about the same, regardless.
yeah, there's no extra nervousness or anything when you turn that microphone on for everybody else.
And it's not really.
Mm, I mean, that's a good mindset to have going in. It's a it reflects a little bit of confidence in what you're doing, going on, and being able to be comfortable with other people. I still have trouble every once in a while with if I know that there are people listening. If I know it, then it does cause a bit of nervousness on my part. Um, were you somebody who was? Have you ever been somebody who wanted to be on stage in your life?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Were you able to indulge yourself with that earlier on?
Oh, yeah. Like, I used to do like local plays,
Mm-hmm.
but they were usually like smaller roles.
Right. Yeah. You were the
Um,
character actor.
yeah.
you you get to be that person that shows up in everything and like, oh yeah, I remember them.
Yeah.
Well, they have long careers. People tend to remember them more than the first person who is on the cast sheet. Uh, it's it, were you kind of drawn to the drama side or the performance side or what?
And I think I was drawn more to like creating the creative process of like a story
Mm-hmm.
and telling it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. Have you done some writing yourself?
I mean, when I was really young, I
Mm,
think I did some writing,
yeah. Have you ever thought about
just like
yeah
as a hobby.
yeah? Have you thought
But
about
it was
picking it up as you've advanced?
um not right at the moment, but we're working towards that.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's always a little thing too with folks who get started with artwork and creativity and that sort of thing is doing it for yourself is one thing, doing it for other folks is a different story.
Yeah.
And it was that easy for you to get up on stage in front of people, or did you have to fight yourself to do it?
Well, I think it was easy, but I wasn't I wasn't given I wasn't given like the big roles, so it was just kind of like being a background character, so you didn't really need to prepare as much.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a lot easier in that sense.
Well, let's see the cash sheet and me, and Amaretto as tree number 3.
Yeah.
I would have been doorstop because I couldn't have gotten on stage with that. I kind of tried one time in high school and
Mhm.
would have like 2 lines, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm going to be in front of people. If you give me in a studio by myself, it's perfectly fine. I don't have to see people, and they don't have to see me. Um, if you're having to do this with a face camera online, would you still be able to do it, or does having the avatar make all the difference?
I think the avatar makes all the difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how does that make you more comfortable? Do you think?
I mean, because I don't have to worry about my physical appearance as much,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't need to like put in the extra effort to look nice.
Mm-hmm.
I can just like roll out of bed and start streaming.
You don't even have to roll out of
Yeah.
bed
Yeah.
if you set it up right. That's
Yeah.
I'm at that point in my old age where I'm gonna try to find shortcuts as much as possible. I think maybe
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to set things up so I could just stay and stay in bed and hit a button and go live.
Yeah.
problem is, problem is, I've got 9 cats, and they're not going to let me do anything like that. I'll end up
I
in
mean, I got a dog as well.
yeah.
And yeah.
Did they come in and help you out during the streams?
I mean, I will. I mean, I'll try to let him sit on my lap, but
Yeah.
he likes to jump off and go to the door.
Ah, okay. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Doors. Pets will always go to doors, especially if they're shut. I shut them.
Yeah.
I shut the door to this room when I'm doing the podcast, and with all these cats, I look over, and every once in a while, there's at least one paw stuck completely under the door, reaching for something. I, and I can tell which one it is by the color of it. Sheldon, no. It's usually Sheldon. He's the big Jethro of the bunch. Yeah, a yellow cat with no brain whatsoever. No, let me in. So, what type of a setup do you have for yourself? Is it you mentioned you have the one screen? Are you working with a base? Are you working with a laptop or what?
It's a desktop,
Mm-hmm.
and I have like two different mics,
Mm-hmm.
not mics, but cameras.
Mm-hmm.
Um, And one of them is like a hand cam
Mm-hmm.
because I had planned on doing like some crocheting streams.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. My wife does a lot of crocheting. She's really good at it, and in our relationship, she's got all of the art talent, and I've got all of the talent to mess up her art talent. We balance out. As creative as she is, I'm uncreative. It comes out to an absolute zero. But I always, even when I was younger, I tried that a little bit. I don't have the coordination. I'm kind of cross-handed, and I can drop things with both hands. So I end up doing something backwards, and I that usually doesn't go well for crocheting. I do things one way, then the other way, then back again. When did you pick that up?
Like decades ago.
Really?
Like I was first taught like before I was 10.
Oh,
So,
so you've been doing it for a while.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
what's your biggest project that you've been able to do?
I I usually make like I, the most complex thing I've done was like some dolls.
Oh,
And my mom requested them for some of her coworkers.
oh, neat.
Just like little baby dolls.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I absolutely envy your ability to do that sort of thing. I I have absolutely no chance trying anything like that. Um, just to have something like that, to be able to do that and get such a positive response, how fulfilling is that?
And it's yeah, it's pretty fulfilling.
Mm-hmm. And when you get the positive feedback like that, do they start giving you like, could you do this for me and this for me and this for me?
Yeah.
Suddenly you have a laundry list of projects.
Yeah.
I think doing that online would be very interesting, and maybe even um, an ASMR type of situation.
I mean, yeah. I just don't have the mic for ASMR.
Yeah, well, if you get to, I think you could probably you pull it off if you have the right setup, and the watching somebody do that is can be pretty mesmerizing after a while. You'll have them under your control. I, so have so far where you're at on your channel, have you been able to do what you want with it? Has it gone well? And are you at the point you thought you'd be at this point?
Um, I'm still working to where I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
I am looking into like, because in like the early days of YouTube and the internet, I did some singing,
Mm.
and I am looking into getting back into that.
Oh, you gonna do some covers?
Yeah, I just haven't decided which ones yet.
Mm. So what genre are you gonna cover, or do you know yet?
Um, I mean, any, I mean, I'm kind of looking at like maybe some Disney covers,
Mm.
or some like kind of pop music.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe like 90s or early 2000s, just because I'm mostly familiar with that.
Yeah. I tell you, you you don't want to jump into something that you don't know the lyrics to at least.
Yeah.
I'd have to do like 1980s early synth pop or REM or something like that.
Yeah.
That's what we were because I was an '80s kid, so it I would have been having to learn a flock of seagulls. If you know flock of seagulls, I got you covered. No, I wouldn't sing it because I don't want to hurt people's ears. Um, but was singing until you did singing as a youngster? Were you in a choir or anything when you were younger?
I did choir in high school.
Yeah, yeah, and was again up on stage with it. So you're kind of a stage person.
In a sense, yeah. Mm.
Mm. So is it still? Do you ever on your stream kind of realize that you have the potential to be talking with people all over the world, and given the right circumstances, the number of zeros on the end could get bigger and bigger and bigger.
I've stayed, I've actually stayed pretty small, but I mean, hopefully the zeros can get bigger at
Yeah.
the end.
Yes. Yeah. It's not overwhelming for you when you get the response in chat.
I don't think so.
Mm. Yeah. It's
I mean, it's still a pretty small turnout, so.
yeah. It's is with that audience. Are you able to be um get a more personal relationship with them, or is it still something? Is it something that you're still working on?
I think I'm still kind of working on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, hopefully I can get past that at some point.
yeah. Well, folks are still coming out for you, and that's got to be fulfilling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's everybody gets into VTubing for different reasons. Is one of the reasons another reason why I like doing these interviews and meeting different people such as yourself, and reasons why they're doing it, and what they get out of it. Do you think that, given your situation, you might be getting more out of this than the average VTuber, personally?
Um, Perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
Because because my experience is different from the average person.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. It you know, I personally, I look at a situation like yours and I say that takes a lot of courage, um, to do that. And it's a type of decision that I'll never make in my life. But and I've never had to make a decision as altering as you did. And then jump into it and actually do it. Uh, just from me to you, I think that took a lot of courage.
yes, it did.
Yeah, and I don't know if people. Do you think people realize that?
And I, I don't think most people would realize that.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, and it's yeah. People don't. I interviewed a fellow. Well, I didn't interview him. I knew him. I used to do professional wrestling commentary around here a little bit for a local group, and one of the wrestlers came out as gay. Um,
mm,
and I worked with them a lot, and thankfully none of the other wrestlers, cared because he's a good guy and a good wrestler. And
mm,
and we talked about it a little bit, and I said, if anybody thinks that you are intentionally wanting to not just come out in this industry as a gay man, but he also a African American gay man. I
mm,
said, that they're out of their mind.
mm,
That's not that. I mean, you're putting yourself behind the eight ball and then behind another eight ball
mm.
to do this. Um, did it? Was it a something that had been building up for years since you were a lot younger, or did it kind of manifest itself later in life?
Um, I think it manifested later in life,
Mm,
to be honest.
yeah. Did it ever enter your mind before that?
I don't think so.
Huh. Mm. So it wasn't something that you struggled with early on. It was later once you kind of established yourself as an adult.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
like that was a few years ago. I was like late 20s when I first started that.
Mm. So you really,
You know,
you kind of already established yourself as a
yeah,
person to folks around you. Um, I hope that the folks around you were supportive once they found out.
yeah.
Well, that's
And I don't think I've had any issues.
well, that's good.
'Cause, yeah,
Yeah, that's something a lot of folks don't get.
I know.
Yeah, and that says a lot about your relationships with those people, and it says a lot about them, I think. But it also says a lot about you because they were no matter what, they're staying by your side, which is great, a great relationship.
Yeah.
Mhm. and and hopefully we'll be able to build that with your channel, with your chat, and have folks be able to come on and express themselves and be what they want to be with everybody else and harmonize with you too. Is that what you're looking forward to with your channel? Is having a space like that?
Yeah. Just like a place pretty much to like, I'd say in my place is like just like a de-stressor from like the real world and how unfortunately awful it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
my channel, I hope, is like a couple hour worth of getting away from that and de-stressing and just being in a safe, comfortable place. You don't have to worry about all that.
Mm. Yeah. That's a great thing to have. I commend you for that. It's and the fact that you've gotten up and done it, and that just not just thought about it as far as YouTube or VTubing goes. Um, I again, people say, "Oh, yeah, I just because yeah, they just turn on the microphone and go." It takes it takes courage to take that first couple of steps, and it takes even more courage to stay in the water once you're in the water.
Yes, it does.
Have you second guessed yourself as far as VTubing is concerned?
No, not at all.
Mm. It's all straightforward and go and all ships ahead.
Yeah.
Mm, excellent. So, have you got any big plans this year for the channel?
Not at the moment.
Mm,
Mm,
yeah,
But
well,
I mean, hopefully I can get into like doing the covers
yeah,
eventually.
yeah. I want to hear that because I'm going to have it on my music specials this year. And no,
Okay.
no pressure.
Yeah.
Uh, singing, singing is something I haven't been able to do since high school because once we had the voice change, I didn't hit a note. I didn't really hit it before, but I sang loud, which they which they liked. Hey, this kid actually is trying to do it. Let's put him out front. And then it's like, oh, he's not hitting any notes. Let's put him out back. I was like Barney Fife. This really bad after that. Um, Again, and that shows some confidence in yourself, being able to do that and show it to other people. Um, it, it it seems like confidence isn't really a problem for you. Am I overstating the case?
um,
Confidence in yourself.
I mean, there are times where I've still struggled with the confidence,
Hmm.
but I think it's just kind of more practice and more getting myself out there.
Hmm. Well, and you're coming from a different angle than most people to do it, and not only making that transition, but being confident enough to continue to move in that direction. Have you had any setbacks in transitioning over? Has there been a roadblock or two or something unexpected in your way?
Uh, I think just like as far as VTubing, it's more of like scheduling
Hmm.
because
You're super busy. I know that.
I mean, it's more so because I don't have a lot of time m- to myself
Yeah.
to at least do this in a private setting.
Right.
Because, yeah, when my family's home, there's always the chance of them just like unintentionally doxing and just coming into the room without knocking.
Yeah. 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 That does
So,
happen. Um, I think if I can pull the curtain back a little bit, uh, we've been trying to get to Amaretto Ginja on for a while, but it's just the windows.
yeah,
The windows are rare and fleeting. Just
yeah,
snag one as it goes by. Make sure we get Amaretto on, and I really do appreciate it because I know it took a tough while to get that on your schedule and
yeah,
coming on with me because you certainly could have just said absolutely not and can't do the schedule and decide not to. If I can ask you, I haven't asked this to anybody and all these interviews. What made you decide to come on the interview?
um, because haven't, I hadn't really done any sort of podcast or collaboration.
Mm,
Mm, So I just thought maybe this would be a good chance to start.
yeah. Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's a different animal than going on by yourself, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, you have to not just react to somebody in chat but you have to keep a conversation with somebody else online and and not seeing them there. It's a phone call, but it's not really a phone call.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're still trying to figure out what to say sometimes, and it can take a
Y-
little bit. But I'm very glad that you were able to come on with me and get this going, because I think you got a very interesting take on this, and obviously the VTuber part of this is a factor in how you're trying to to live your life right now. If you didn't have VTubing, would everything that you've done here recently be tougher to do?
Um, probably.
Yeah,
I'd probably just be like just a faceless streamer with no webcam or anything.
yeah. So one way or another, you're going to be streaming.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Content creating one
Yeah,
way or the other.
yeah. So have you? Well, with the recording of a cover eventually, are you going to do any other types of recording and bring videos up?
Um, not quite sure at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's baby steps right now.
Mm,
So,
yeah. Well, um, baby steps in the right direction, though.
yeah.
I really do congratulate you. I'm glad that you're at a point where you're comfortable with with your surroundings and yourself, and you've got folks around you who are supportive. That means all the difference in the world for a lot of things, and not just your own situation, but for a lot of people. And I wish you absolutely nothing but continued success in all those endeavors. Um, it's it's not the easiest road that you're going on. You know that, and I don't have to tell you that. uh,
Yeah.
but it's I can see that you've taken it with a courageous uh, stance, and one that's not going to be derailed anytime soon. Um, my hat's off to you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Amaretto, how often do you stream right now?
Uh, it's kind of random,
Mm-hmm.
but at least with my when I do eventually get to recording, I hope to get at least one cover a month.
Mm-hmm. And
And it's it'll depend on like when I can get it recorded and like find somebody to help mix it
yeah, and
and
well,
all that.
there are a lot of folks online who can do that. There's some really good ones out there, so yeah, you'll be able to find them pretty quick. How often do you stream in a week?
Uh, oof. I don't know if I do it weekly, but I mean, it's really about a like I stream whenever I can, to be honest.
Yeah, it's tough to find that time and be consistent yet, and
Yeah, like I think right now the only times I can really do any streaming regularly would be early mornings.
mm, oh,
Yeah, and that,
you can have the coffee crew.
yeah, and yeah, and I struggle to get up at a reasonable time, so
Well, I can tell you, when you get old like me, and you don't actually have to get up in the morning, uh, don't.
yeah.
If you don't have to do it, and if people get on you, say, "Hey, I earned it. I got this far," and tell them to buzz off and shut off your phone so they don't be up. Amaretto, it's absolutely a pleasure talking with you, and again, I salute you for what you're able to do, and I hope that everything continues positive for you. And if you've got something big coming up with the channel and thing, just let us know. We'll promote it for you, and we'll get it up on. And maybe later this year we can get you on for an update.
Okay, I hope so too.
Thank you so much for
Yeah.
coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.